What's up, guys? Welcome to week number 5 of the Recap Show. I'm your host, Coach John Lucas, and today we're going to take a look at some of the top routines, top scores in the NCAA and the Gym Act. Also, NorCal United had a big week. We got our highest team score and our first team score, which was kind of historic. So we're in our third year. For those of you who don't know, that's the college program that I started, NorCal United. And yeah, third year, we finally got a full team lineup on every event, 5 scores, 5 up, 5 count. Almost worked out for us to beat Southern California, but we ended up losing 4-10. So super close, super good matchup, and we'll get to that. But first, let's start with the team rankings. The top team scores in the country, holding their number 1 spot even though they had a bye, was University of Oklahoma, followed up by Stanford at number 2. Michigan moved up 3 places to take the 3rd place spot. Nebraska moved down 1. They're now in 4th. Ohio State held their 5th place ranking. And Navy dropped by 2 places. They're now in 6th place. We're going to take a look at some other data too. Something I think is important. Who is the most consistent team in the NCAA? Right now, statistics say, just by comparing the high score to the low score, University of Oklahoma. They are 4 points different between their highest and their lowest score. The team that is next ranked by difference between their high and low, Springfield. Springfield is the only Division III program in the country, and they have been very consistent with only 4.65 difference between their highest and their lowest scores. Next up, Southern California United, who has 5 points different between their 2 scores. William & Mary is holding in very consistently with a 6.9 difference between their high and low. Michigan has almost a 10-point swing with 9.6, same as Iowa, almost 10 points different in their score, 9.85 different between their high and their low. Now let's look at the other side of the pendulum. NorCal United has the most difference in score ranges. High score of 334.6 and a low score of 229.8. That's a 104.8 difference in their score. Obviously, not having a full team up in Washington affected them, and so most of those gains were made just by putting more people up. Next, UIC. They have also had a lot of changes in their score, 19.65, the difference between their high and their low. Stanford Cardinal has had an 18.2 difference between their high and their low score. Coaches poll put them in at number 1. I don't think with the consistency, even though they took a victory over Oklahoma, that I agree with that. However, it is what it is. The ranking still stands with Oklahoma in 1st. Stanford, in my opinion, needs to get their act in gear and start hitting more routines. California has had a 17.85 point difference. Army, 15.95. Washington has changed 15.65 in the standings. Okay, moving on to the top routines in the country. First one we're going to take a look at is on floor. Jesse Tyndall scored a 15.0 from Ohio State. This time around, we're just going to take a look at some highlights. Good, solid landings. Good gymnastics. Very good with his landings. That was a really good floor routine from Jesse Tyndall. Next, pommel horse. We all know him. We all love him. Steven Nedorosik, the highest score in NCAA gymnastics action for the year. Top scorer on rings this week, Cameron Bach of Michigan. That dismount. Maybe changing my mind. That was pretty solid. Next, we're traveling to the Pac-12 Invitational to watch Bailey Perez do his thing on the vault. Two and a half with a stick. That's how you get the high score for the week. Next up, we're still at the Pac-12 Invite, hosted by Cal. This was hosted on Super Bowl Sunday. I got to watch this meet from my iPad, iPhone, and every other device that we could get to live stream the 4 different teams that were there competing. And this routine was phenomenal. They played it, like I said, during the Super Bowl. Very interesting timing to hold a gymnastics meet. As you can notice, there were some faithful in the stands, which is good to see, but that definitely hurt their attendance. This routine is wonderfully crafted, really well done. Beautiful Healy. D-hum 1 1/4, really late in the routine. Man, I'm telling you, making the Stanford lineup on P-bars is difficult. This meet was a little bit easier because they rested their all-arounders that they're going to take to the Winter Cup. But, man, that routine was still packed. Okay, we're going to take a look at high bar. There's 2 routines we're going to watch. They both tied, both scoring a 14-1. First one is going to be Crew Bold. Crew Bold is from Minnesota. He's a freshman. And I remember as a junior, man, he could swing high bar. Has some really big releases in his arsenal. Not sure what he'll be doing today. It looks like winds up. Yep, a Coleman. Beautiful. Should see a Kovacs. Nope, goes with Tkachev. There it is. Nice. Another Tkachev. And connected out of it with the half. Really good job working that. There's the Zuluman that I love. Lines up for his dismount, and he sticks it. So that was a 14-1. Now we're going to take a look at Jonathan Liu's 14-1. I must say, I was really a big fan of the last routine that we watched, of Crew Bold's high bar routine. It was very clean. Did a really good job. Now we're going to see if Jonathan Liu can have similar execution. So far, he's managed to stay pretty clean. Oh, and he does the German Giant. These are very rare, and they're worth quite a bit of points. It's a devalued skill, so as much as a layout to catch it.
Put it down now, John!
I would say this one was not a crowd pleaser compared to Crew's. Crew was really solid and had much bigger skills. The routine was a lot more interesting. But they ended up both scoring the same, 14-1. Okay, now we're going to take a look at Hamish Carter. He was the all-around victor. He got an 81.3, 1/10 over, I think it was Bittner from Stanford. But 1/10 the victor for the week, and so here is his floor routine. Nice, I like they got his name up there. From the UK. He's a sophomore. Mounts with a big double front. Beautiful. Again, floor is all about those landings.
Let's go now. Come on, every skill, every time. Beautiful, Paul. Yes!
Up next, for the Ohio State Buckeyes, on the parallel walls, will be Jesse Tyndall.
Pretty good dismount. Really good routine for Hamish. He was, like I said, the all-around victor. Now we're going to go to Southern California. We're going to take a look at some of the top routines from NorCal United. We had started on pommel horse, and our first gymnast up fell apart during the routine. Missed his tongue fei 3 times, and then fell on another travel later in the routine, and then ended up with a 2.7. Had a 4-point neutral deduction for short routine, and 4 falls. So it was a little rough start. The next gymnast up was freshman Brandon Garcia. Brandon did not have a good pommel horse routine at our first meet, so we were asking a lot of him to be able to hit this routine. There's the dismount. Well done. He started to flip our momentum, but it wasn't quite enough. Things started to look a little bit better with rings. Emmett really was a big addition to the team. He was not able to attend the Washington Open, but we were really happy to see this is him on floor. He really gave good effort and had good, clean routines ready. He hit everything that he tried. Here he goes with a big dismount. 2.5, just a little step. Really good routine. On to P-bars. P-bars, finally we're starting to collect some hits. We hit 4 routines in a row, and after that, we had freshman Neil Mora Ramirez anchoring the team. Neil had struggled a little bit on the P-bars the first meet, but we were expecting him to put together a good set for this one. Next up was high bar. Well, that was our only miss in the second half. But after chalking up, he seemed like he was fine. So Harant jumped back up after the crash on the Tkachev and finished his routine. Double full by Brandon Garcia, an upgrade from the first meet. Will Ryan did not disappoint. He had the second highest score in the meet on vault. Nice and clean. Our last vaulter, he was held until that triple back off of high bar by Troy. Troy finished for SoCal United, and then Neil Mora Ramirez went up with the last vault for NorCal United to end our second competition. There it was, pretty good layout full, and that was our second meet and our first time having a full team. So it wasn't our best meet, but it was pretty solid. We had a really good finish after a rough start, and that's what I'm really proud of the guys for, was 1 missed routine in the last 3 events. We ended up 4/10 behind SoCal United. Not exactly where we wanted to be with a really rough start on pommel horse. Rings was a little shaky. Floor were capable of a lot more than what we showed today. But overall, fairly proud of what the boys did and the improvements they made. And I think we've got to just clean some things up, tighten up some landings, get a little bit more consistent, especially on our first events. And on pommel horse specifically. It's not really necessarily a weakness for us, just wasn't something we hit. So I'm going to look to the guys to clean that up and bring it the rest of the year. Thank you guys for watching. If you stayed this long, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified when I upload new content, and see you guys next week.